Hi everybody, Scott Kelby here from KelbyOne.com, and we are doing HDR Panos. So Panos that are made up of HDR images. And I got a lot of questions about this, so let's get started. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to start with the camera stuff because you have to shoot it right for it to work right. Basically what you're going to do is this. You're going to set your camera to shoot in bracketed mode. In my case, it would shoot 3 shots for every one I do here. Every time I do an HDR, it is the normal shot, 2 stops underexposed, 2 stops overexposed. So these 3 are going to make up the 1 HDR image. Then you're shooting a pano, right? So now I move my camera to the right and make sure that the images overlap by at least 20%. And I take my next one, click, 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 rotate to the right, click, 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 rotate again, click, 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 rotate again, click, 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 and the last one, click, click, click. I have 18 photos of all, so it's going to make 6 frames for my pano. So we start off by combining all the HDR images first. Do that first. So let's do this. 1, 2, 3, photo merge, and choose HDR. So let's go ahead and choose that first. It's going to bring up the HDR Merge Preview. It's going to show you what it looks like. I recommend doing this the first time that you bring up your first, whatever your first bracketed frame is, so you can see if the settings, if you like them. And in this case, I don't really need auto align on. I shot these on a tripod. We'll leave auto tone on fine, and I don't need any ghosting. Everything's okay. I just hit merge. So this one single HDR image is combining itself in the background. Okay. So you can see it appears right there. Once we've done that, I don't really need to see that window anymore. I want to use the same settings for all of these. So what I can do is I can go to the next bracketed set, which is 1, 2, 3, and I can use a keyboard shortcut. The keyboard shortcut would be Shift-Control-H on a Macintosh or Shift-Option-H on a Windows PC. And what that will do is it'll create the HDR without making you wait for the window. Without even seeing the window, it will do it in the background. So Shift-Control-H on my Mac. You can see it says creating HDR up here. And so now it's doing it in the background. Now, the nice thing about this is it can do multiple ones. There's the second one. It can do multiple ones. So you can go on to the next one. All right. And we'll do that one. Then I can go on to the next one. And it'll do that one. And I'm just hitting the keyboard shortcut. Whoops, I forgot to hold all the keys. That messes things up. So you can see when it does create them, it adds this little file called HDR there. You can see it just added another HDR file over here. Now let's make sure we're getting them all. Now I'm talking through here. There's one. There's another. There's another. All right. This one is over here for some crazy reason. And let's make sure we get the next one. So that would be the normal shot. And then the 2 underexposed and the 2 overexposed. There we go. Let's make sure we do it right. Use the keyboard shortcut. And then there's the last 3 here. 1, 2, 3. And we'll use that keyboard shortcut. Then we'll go back and make sure that I actually did convert everything to HDR here. Let's go take a look. They're almost done here. And make sure we have 6 HDRs. If we don't, then we're kind of messed up. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yay, they're all there. All right, there's our 6. Now, once you have those 6, right, you can see that they're HDR DNGs, so they still have the properties of a raw image. They're raw DNGs. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we go to the pano, photo merge, and hit panorama. Now, if you were doing multiple panoramas, you can use that same keyboard shortcut. You're basically adding the shift key. So if you hold the shift key and choose this, watch here, you can even see it'll update the little preview. That's the full shortcut there. We're going to choose panorama. It is going to bring up the Panorama Merge Preview, and it's going to show you what it would look like when it's done. We'll wait for this one. Well, because there's only one to do. I don't have a whole bunch of them. And we're going to look and see if we like the way it looks. And what I'm going to be concerned about is the gap that it leaves around the edges and how to handle that. Now, we've talked about that here on the blog many times. We can auto crop, and then it just makes the image a little smaller. Or I prefer to use boundary warp and just slide it up like that. Beauty. We click merge, and we have our HDR Pano. Now, you're thinking, well, it doesn't look like a whole lot of just, it doesn't look special or anything. It doesn't look HDR'd. It doesn't look amazingly tonal or anything. You're right. What this is this is a very large image. It's going to be one piece, as you'll see in just a moment, but we haven't taken advantage of the HDR part of this yet, but we will in the next tutorial. That's right, there's a part 2. Dun, dun, dun. And that's when basically we've already covered what I was going to cover today, which is how to make an HDR Pano, but it looks like so we're going to we're going to do the next part. We're going to actually show how to tone it a little bit. So we'll pick up there. And in the meantime, it'd be cool. Go over and watch my class on post-processing for landscapes. I actually took these shots as part of a class that I did out in Oregon at Cannon Beach, where I did the first part of the class is 10 landscape essentials that every landscape photographer needs to know on their camera, and then we took the same images that we made in that class and did a whole thing on post-processing. You can find it over at KelbyOne. You can take the 10-day free trial and just enjoy and watch it right now. All right, everybody, we'll see you in a couple days for the part 2.